Hey everybody, it's Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and congratulations if you have already taken the 90-day challenge. This video is an introduction to the morning practice. This is the morning practice vid right here, and I do actually walk you through and narrate. And you can probably hear me narrating there. 3 cleansing breaths. I narrate what to do, but in this video I want to explain to you exactly what it is that we're doing in detail, and I want to tell you why we're doing it. So let's talk about that for a moment. Why are we doing this? Now, when you wake up in the morning, especially if you're like me, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing that happens when you wake up out of sleep, because when you're asleep, you're not really your identity. That's what dreaming is all about. Your psyche is trying to figure out who it is and what it wants to be and all kinds of other things like that. But what happens first is that as your brain kicks in, you have this software in your brain which is your constructed human identity, which is an illusion. You are not that identity that you think you are. You know, my name is Michael William Denny. I was born in South Bay, Los Angeles, Southern California, and I went to Cal State Fullerton, and that's my identity. I like this and I don't like that, and I feel like this and I can do this and I'm good at that. And those are all things that are part of my past and my weird. You know, in weird, W-Y-R-D, my ancestors believed that the present moment creates the past, which creates the future. So what you do every day when you wake up, your brain kicks in and your software, it turns itself on, and you remember, oh yes, my name is so-and-so, and I do this, and I'm good at that, and I'm bad at that, and I'm a good person, and I'm a bad person, or whatever it is that you've constructed with your parents and with society. You then have that program kicks in, and it's got a path for you to go, and that's where your life goes. And that program determines how successful, unsuccessful, happy, unhappy. You have all of your projections in there, you know, that the world is this and I am that. And so everybody else has a counter projection. You go out into the world, you project this illusory identity that has all of these thoughts and feelings and blah, 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 and the judgments on yourself and on the world. You interact with people and you energetically and or consciously project this out. They have a reaction and a counter projection, and they respond and react. And then your life is now on a path that cannot be changed. So what we're going to do in this morning practice is we are going to do physical exercises that are going to stimulate the Kundalini to rise. It's going to obviously open up the third eye so you can see yourself more clearly. You're going to get the spine moving, and you're going to be stretching in such a way where the chakras are going to ignite and to be there available for you. People talk about doing chakra meditations and all that. That does almost nothing. What really can help the chakras work for you is when you have the intention, knowing what you want to do, and then you do specific exercises which will then ignite them, and then you can go in there and start to reconstruct or use the chakras for whatever you want. The end goal of the morning exercise is to get you completely operating from your soul, which is in your heart center. So by the end of this 90-day morning practice, every day you're going to feel a connection to your heart. Trust me, it's very powerful, and I'm going to be walking you through it as you see here. So let's talk about the specific exercises we're going to be doing here so you know how to do them when you do it. Again, if you want to just, if you're ready to go now, just go to thunderwizard.com and simply subscribe to the 90-day challenge, and you can go ahead and get started. Here is the intro. I want to walk you through it before you actually do the practice though. So the morning practice is getting to know what it is that you want. So before you do any of this, what I want you to do is to make a list of what it is that you want in life. Follow the questions that I give. I'll give them to you again very quickly. if you lived in a fantasy land where you did not have to make money, everything you needed, house, car, everything was just provided for you. You didn't have to work for a living. 2, you didn't have to meet anybody's expectations. So you don't have to go and become a scientist or a bricklayer or a college professor because that's what your parents want, or that's what you can do whatever the hell you want. You don't have to live up to anybody's expectations. Number 3, you only do those things that make you happy. So you not only don't have to follow somebody else's, lifestyle that they've mapped out for you, but you also only do the things that you want, that make you happy, regardless of how silly, ridiculous, or impractical or wrong they are. And then 4th, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be anything. There's no limit. Nothing is impossible. If you want to be 100 feet tall, if you want to be a billionaire, if you want to be Mr. Olympia, doesn't matter. That's what you're going to decide. So you don't have to make money to survive. You don't have to meet anybody's expectations. You only do the things that you want, and it can be absolutely anything, no matter how impossible. So think about that and write that down. What it is that you want, what your soul wants, what gives you joy. If you can't figure it out, don't worry. Do the best that you can and make your desire, I want to figure out what I want. That is a perfectly good goal too. Then the next thing I want you to do is to write a list. You're going to write a list of what you need to do. So for instance, I came up with this idea for this 90-day challenge. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to go beyond the limitations of what I've been doing, and I wanted to interact with people on a more one-on-one level, and I wanted to take them through the kinds of things that I do myself on a daily basis. And so I created this, and I decided to make it part of the Thunder Wizard channel, as opposed to having its own little PayPal thing. And so that means I had to make a list of the different videos, including this one. Today on my list it says make video of the intro to the morning session. And so I put that on my list, and today I was doing all my things and I got to that, and I'm now making this video. So I want you to make a list. Now because I know what I want. What I want is to make this 90-day challenge package and put it on Patreon, and I know how I want to do it and all that, so I make a to-do list. Figure out what it is that you want. You want to become Mr. Olympia. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is go online and find out what my nutrition needs are. Then I'm going to start looking for a gym. Then I'm going to start watching Arnold Schwarzenegger talk about it. And then I'm going to go find a personal trainer. You've got a list, 1 through 4. So you haven't done anything yet? Okay, do number 1. So what's going to happen is at the end of the morning practice, after you've done all of listening to me and then letting me take you through it, at the end of it, you're then going to get up and you're going to go do at least one thing on your list. You got to go to work today? Okay, no problem. But you're going to do at least one of those things on your list. And you're going to see if you do this thing on a daily basis and follow your list, before you know it, it's going to be out there, it's going to be done, and you're going to be successful making money or whatever it is that you want to do. Trust me, it'll come together. You will change if you do this. All right, so that's the first thing I want you to do. Is I want you to figure out what you want. If you haven't already done that, make a list, an exhaustive list, because that's what saves me. Here's why. Because as you start pushing towards this, you're going to have really good days, and their days is not going to be so good. You're not going to feel motivated. You're going to be tired and whatever. You're going to have to follow the list, because the list commits you. So you're going to go, I don't want to do it, but okay, I can do number 3. I can make this morning intro video, and then I'll go and lie down and eat Cheetos and watch video games. I'll just get this one thing done. Trust me, it works. All right, so now I'm going to walk you through some of the different exercises that I'm going to be doing in this video. Again, this is just for you to get an idea. If you haven't signed up yet, this is actually the morning video. So the first thing we do is we do 3 cleansing breaths, and for that I will talk you through it, but you'll know exactly what it is. You're going to inhale through the nose, Then you're going to exhale all the air out of the body forcefully. You're going to do that 3 times. That is sort of like wiping the hard drive clean, okay? Getting the hard drive ready to be programmed. Then you're going to do alternate nostril breathing, as you can see what I'm doing there. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my right thumb, I'm blocking off my right nostril, my right thumb blocking off my right nostril, and I'm inhaling through my left nostril. Then I take my index finger and I close off my left nostril and I exhale out the right. Then I inhale through the right. Block off, inhale through the right. Then I block off my right nostril and I exhale out the left. Then I inhale through the left. I just keep going like that. You'll see me do it. You can watch me do it. You can hear me narrate you as we go through it. So that's the next thing that we do. And then, of course, and in between each of the meditations and exercises, there'll be relaxation and breathing. So that's just to give you a taste of what it is you're going to be looking at as you follow along with me. There's music underneath it and me narrating, so you don't have to worry about it. But I want to let you know ahead of time exactly what it is. All right, then we do spinal twists. Now, spinal twists can be done either sitting on a stool or if you're sitting on the ground, yogic style. Now, I used to teach Kundalini yoga, so there was a point in time when I was 145 pounds and I sat there and I could twist myself up into full lotus and all that. I've since obviously gained a lot of weight and a lot of muscle, and I've had some injuries, so I can't sit like that anymore. At least not, in my current state. Maybe when I'm 80, maybe I'll trim down and be able to do that, and whatever. But for right now, I have to sit on a stool. So you can sit on a stool or on a chair, but what's most important is that your feet are flat on the ground, that your knees are straight across. You don't want your knees, up above your hips. You want your hips and your knees to be equal, or your knees a little beneath your hips. And you want to, if it's a chair, you want to pull your back away from the chair, and your back needs to be straight. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your hands like claws, and you're going to hook the thumbs behind your shoulders, and you're going to have your hands, resting here in front like this. Yes, it looks like I'm doing a bodybuilding pose now. You're sitting here with these claws on your shoulder. And then what you're going to do is you're going to twist left very gently. Now you see me in the video, I'm going at a pretty good pace, but you don't have to go that fast. You go as slow as you need to go. And as you inhale, you're going to turn your head and twist and inhale, and then you're going to exhale and go right like that. And then you get into whatever rhythm you're comfortable. If it's slow, you go. Or you can work yourself up to go as fast as I was going. Most important is no jerking motions. It's very smooth. Go as slow as you need to go. But you'll start to feel a lot of energy come through you, because if you start going fast, then you start really breathing. But again, it's not how fast you go. And then the next thing we're going to do is we'll rest in between. Then we'll do what I call stretching cobra. So if you're familiar with yoga, you know what a cobra pose is. And you'll see me do it. You'll be able to look at me at least from one angle. But what you need to understand is that your hands are underneath your chest like this, okay? And that's what you're going to use. Now, I talk about stretching from the back, but in reality, what's happening is you are driving your hips into the ground. It's your hips that are pushing you up as you do the Cobra Stretch. You may not, if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, you will when you do the practice. So focus on you're laying down, driving your hips into the ground and letting your back arch up, and you use your chin like you're trying to touch the ceiling with your chin. And each time you try and go a little bit, try and get your chin up towards the sky a little bit closer each time. And you'll inhale as you come up, and then you'll exhale down, and you'll bring your chin back down on the ground. Inhale, stretch up, exhale down. And trust me, you'll see it'll start to open things up. What this will do is it will open up the heart chakra. One of the reasons I love surfing is because I'm basically in Cobra pose for 2 hours, paddling around. You have to be in Cobra pose almost the whole time, paddling around, opening up the heart chakra. It's really important because we're going to be coming from our soul. Your soul is in here. We need to connect directly to the soul. Okay, so then you're going to then let yourself come down and lie down, face, with your chin on the ground, and you're just going to breathe and relax again. And then we're going to go into what I call kneeling prostate pose. Now, as you see me, you'll see how stiff my legs are and my knees are from the injuries I've had. But what you want is to then come back onto your knees and actually sit down onto your heels if you can, and then you're going to stretch forward with your hands out in prayer pose, stretching out in front of you like that, and you'll see in the video, you'll see what I'm doing there, and that will stretch out the lower back. Okay, so you're doing the opposite. You've been contracting the back as you stretch the chest, and then we're going to stretch the back for a little bit afterwards. And you'll find it's a really relaxing and satisfying combination. And this will bring energy up to the third eye when you do it correctly. You don't have to worry about where the energy is going, but trust me, it's going there. And then we do what's called triangle pose, which is, you'll see what I'm doing. I've got my feet flat on the ground, and then I have my hands out, and you create a triangle. You want your butt, your hips to come up at the top and become a triangle. And you do the best that you can. Try to keep your feet flat on the ground, and you'll feel a stretch in the hamstrings and in the glutes and in the back as well. And it might be challenging. You can drop to one knee and then come back up and do it again. Do the best that you can. And then you're going to stand up and just breathe and let the energy move. Then we're going to do something that I found to be incredibly powerful, not only for the heart center, but for your energy. And this is something that I taught in the Thunder Qigong. And you can stand and do it if you want, but you can also sit. You can either sit in full lotus or you can sit on the chair. In this video, I do it seated, and your hands are going to be straight out to the sides with the palms flat towards the ground like that. And then you're just going to breathe. And I narrate you through what to do and what to focus on. And then as we're doing that, I'm going to explain to you 2 very powerful ways to chant the runes. So you can chant Raido, Manaj, Dagaj, and Sawal, or you can just take the syllables Ra, Ma, Da, Sa. So let me explain to you what those mean. I talk a little bit about it in the narration, but let me explain to you what they mean because they're really powerful. So, Raito is the rune of the right path. The sun going through the sky. It's the track that the sun takes. It's the right path. It's the path of truth, the path of your soul, which is what we want. We want to follow the path of your soul. So by chanting Raito, we are putting our intentions to follow the true track of our soul. And then Manaj. Manaj means, as you know, it means moon, and it means mind. And Raido is the track of the sun. So we first connect to the power of the sun, which is the soul. Then we empower the mind, the moon, the sun and the moon, the soul and the mind to work together. And this balances out male and female. Raido is masculine, Manaj is feminine. You didn't know that, did you? And so we balance out the 2 sides of the body, the right and the left. And then Dagaj is the light of the midday sun as it hits the earth. So strangely enough, this is an earth empowerment even though we're talking about the light of the sun. We're talking about the rays of the sun hitting the earth. And it represents being completely enlightened in the moment, living in the moment. And trust me, by this time of the practice, your brain is not going to be doing anything. You're not going to be thinking about anything. You're going to be feeling it. And so you chant Dagaj. And then Sawul is, of course, the soul, which is where we want to operate from. It also represents the infinity of the soul. So interestingly enough, there is a yogic chant that goes along with it that you can choose to do, which is just the syllables, which is Ra, the sun, Ma, the moon, Da, earth, Sa, infinity. So I go between both of them. I'll do Raido, Manaj, Dagaj, Sawul. Of course, this is all done under the breath, but you can do it any way you want. If you want to belt it out loud, you can. If you want to whisper it, if you want to just simply, move your mouth to it without making any sound, they'll all work. And so I do that. I also do Ra, Ma, Da, Sa. Excuse me. There's also a little tune. If you want to sing a little tune, it's a great way to do this. Ra, Ma, Da, Sa. You just do that. And so that's something that you can play around with. I go back and forth as I'm doing this seated pose and chanting, and we'll do that for 3 minutes. And then you just bring your hands back into prayer pose, and you breathe. And there's a specific manifestation. What's the word I want to use? It's not a mantra, but it's something that I tell you that doesn't work. But in this case, it will. And so what you're going to tell yourself is, I have the freedom to create the life that I want. I have the freedom. So I talk you through the different affirmations that you can say. And then we lie down in corpse pose for 3 minutes, which is just you lie down on your back and you just relax into the floor and breathe long and deep. And I talk you through that as well. And then when you're done, you go and do one thing that you've put on your list. So that is what we'll be doing when we do this video. Again, if you haven't subscribed, go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe right now, because I'm going to put up the first morning phase, and I'm going to be uploading new things all the time. Don't worry if it takes me a few days. You can get started and just do the morning phase every single day. And again, you're not buying a whole package. You're just subscribing for the month. And if you try it and you don't like it, just unsubscribe. Well, what have you got to lose? I'm going to keep uploading. I think I'm going to do 3 phases of this. So once I get the morning and the afternoon and the evening practice for this first phase, I'm going to get started on the second phase, which will ideally, you do one phase for 30 days, and then you do a second phase for 30 days, and then the last one for 30 days. And by the time you get to the end of that 90-day challenge, I guarantee you will be transformed. Even if you just did this, if you said, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time or money, I'm just going to go on and learn this first thing. If you just did the morning phase every day for the rest of your life, I guarantee you, you will have success getting closer to your soul and getting closer to following your true path. All right. So that's it. I welcome you. Maybe if this takes off, I may just start shifting all of my video courses onto Patreon and just make it a monthly subscription thing for people. So go ahead and go to thunderwizard.com and subscribe today. All right, that's it. I will see you guys very soon.